Okay, so this video is just going to talk about handling dead small blind and dead button situations. And both of those happen, fairly often, both in tournaments and cash games. The dead small occurs when a big blind, goes broke or leaves, and a dead button happens when automatically when a dead small. When a dead small, a dead small occurs, the next hand is by definition a dead button. And when players get knocked out, the system pauses, and so like a small blind that would get knocked out becomes a dead button as well. And so there's on the dead player icons, there's a menu for setting dead button and dead smalls. So let's say, for argument's sake, the last hand that unfolded had a big blind. Let's say the button was here, and this was the big blind, and he went broke, and got knocked out of the tournament. So this is now dead small. So we set the dead small indicator, and then we go ahead and manually set the button, and then it's okay. Go ahead and deal the hand. So you'll see now the pot is 2 because it's indicating we don't have a small blind, we just have a big blind. And we can just take a look at the history here. It says seat 6 is a dead small blind. Seat 7 pays blind of 2, and we're ready for the next hand with a live button in seat 5. Okay. So let's just I'm not just for demo purposes, speed things up. I'm not going to actually deal the hand. Let's open the action. And let's just fold through everything to the big blind. Big blind wins. Okay. And I'm stuck in my debugger right now. Okay, now we're out of the debugger. And we'll auto win there. And we'll move on to the next hand. Okay. So now you can see automatically the button's moved like it normally would between hands automatically. It's a dead button because it was a dead small. So that's what I was getting at. Take a look at the log. Ready next hand, dead button, seat 6. Whereas before it was a live button in seat 5 with a dead small in seat 6. Okay, so that's handled automatically. And let's just fold through this hand. Let me open the action. Fold through this hand. Fold everything to the big blind. Okay, he wins. Next hand. Okay, so now let's say you could have an interesting situation where, so we could do that too. So let's say maybe you made a mistake, and when you started, you forgot to specify it was a small blind. Oh, sorry, a dead small blind. So in that situation, like you didn't say small blind, dead small blind first before you set the button. So let's say we just set the button here. Yeah, we're sure we want to reset the button. Okay, so on that situation where this was supposed to be a dead small, when we just set the button here, it skipped this guy, assuming this player's just not in the hand. It's not a dead small. So you have to make sure that you catch that. And so in this situation, you'll see the pot is 3, and that's a small blind and big blind here. So that's a mistake in that situation. So you just easily correct the situation just by saying, oh, this is a dead small. Yes, I'm sure. And it will automatically reposition that button there. So the button's here. So what it actually did was it specified dead small, and then it reset the button back on this spot again. And we're back to that scenario where we demonstrated where we had done it in the first place. So the point is you obviously have to catch that. And if you don't catch it, then your small blind, big blind is going to be out for that spot. But it's fairly easy for you to just reset the button and correct that. Okay, so let's say we have a situation where it's both a dead small and a dead button. Generally you should set the dead small first. So you set the dead small here, and then set the dead button here. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, good to go. So here we have a situation. Let's check the hand history. It should show dead button, dead small. So we have a dead button in seat 1. We have a dead small. Okay, yeah. So the reason it was ignored was because the button was set. Yeah, so the reason it was ignored, so this is important, that's why we're going through the demo. The reason that was ignored was because the button was set here, and you can't specify, it doesn't make sense to say this is a dead small blind when the button was here. But now the button is set here, and if you re-specify dead small, yes, okay, it should be corrected properly. So the order of operations is to generally set the button first, and then specify a small blind if the hand is already unfolded. If you're in a pause situation where it's expecting you to set it manually, then you can specify the dead small first. In fact, you should. So that's a bit confusing, but it will make sense. And you basically can't do it wrong. So in this situation, we've got it set where dead small in 2, dead button in 1. Seat 3 is paying the big blind. So let's just repeat that again. So if we were to specify a dead small over here, the button is set right now. So if I go dead small, it's benign. It doesn't do anything. And that should be your cue. Anytime you specify the dead small where it's going to take an action, it'll just confirm that you really want to, you're effectively resetting the button if you're pushing the dead small in the right spot. So let's demonstrate, even though it is set up here right now, for a dead button and a dead small. If we said dead small here, say, are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. It's okay, dead small's here and the button's here. But because the button is here, so you're specifying the seat that's empty to the left of it is dead small. All right, so that's the indicator. If you click on dead small and you get no feedback, nothing, there's no action. Now, if you said dead button, that's different. Now you specified a button. Yes, I want to move the button to there. Okay, so now the button's here. Clearly, it's not dead small because there's a seated position, right? And I think that's pretty much all there is to say about that. We set the button here, come back to our initial position. Yeah, we want to set the button here. Okay. Oh, we forgot, pot 3. Oh, no, it's a dead small. We forgot. Let's make it a dead small. Yeah, we're sure it's a dead small. Okay. And it's been reset. Okay.